Good morning, Quiet here, and I do not recommend you take your brand new $4,000 face computer to the beach. But that's the risk we professional YouTubers take, so you don't have to. So, I've had this thing almost a week now, and I've got to be honest, I've practically been living in this thing. There's issues, of course, as expected with any first-gen product. If you've paid attention to reviews at all, the general consensus is that this thing is technically very impressive, but a dev kit that's more of a promise of what's to come than something you should drop so much cash on like right now. And I hear that. It can be finicky, especially when you try to get through Apple's guardrails. Plus, comfort can be a bit of an issue for a lot of people. I pretty much exclusively switched to the dual loop band. And I can stay in here for hours, but I still get like the VR face with the red imprint marks like around my cheeks and forehead. I'm looking into some hardware hacks for further refinement, but we'll see how that plays out. And it's after spending hours in here that I came to another realization. I would say most people are using this like, I guess like a desktop computer would be a good analogy. Like, you turn it on, you use it to accomplish a task, whatever that may be, and then you turn it off and step away. But when you start treating this like a lifestyle accessory, something you wear for like hours at a time as you go about your day, your brain starts kind of shifting to the spatial computing mindset. When I take it off, I'm surrounded by like non-computational space, like dumb space that isn't showing me the weather or YouTube or my Final Cut timeline. But anyway, if you can't tell, I for one love this thing. Unlike the Quest 3, I don't see it gathering dust even like months from now. I've already put my Samsung tablet up for sale to hopefully slightly offset the cost. So, as mentioned in my last video, today is my birthday and I am vacationing at the Royal Decameron Resort in San Jose del Cabo. So now that I've got a chance to travel with the Vision Pro, I've got 3 tips for you. And if you stick to the end, it'll be a couple bonus ones as well. Along the way, I'll be recommending some gear, and Amazon affiliate links for everything will be down below, which I may get a commission from at no extra cost to you. It just helps support this channel. So let's get right into it. The first one is a short one and kind of required in some circumstances. Utilize the Vision Pro's travel mode because of all the sensors that here when you're in a plane or some other motor vehicle that's moving, hopefully not driving. The tracking can get wonky and your screens may like freak out. It seems to be pretty good at like prompting you to turn it on, so most of the time you just click to turn it on when it asks, but you could also do it manually from Control Center. Second, you're going to want accessories, and arguably the most important one when traveling is a case. Apple sells one made for the Pro, and I'm sure it's a very nice case, but it is $200. I mean, that's the cost of a storage upgrade. It's kind of crazy. Now, little backstory here. Many years ago, I stopped checking luggage and became a carry-on only traveler. And at some point, most airlines started charging for carry-ons too. So now I'm a personal item only traveler, meaning that my bag has to fit under the seat in front of me. Okay, so check out how insane this is. Over half my bag, the Hazard 4 Patrol, is taken up by the Vision Pro. But with some creativity, I got mostly everything I need stuffed in here, with some other stuff offloaded elsewhere, which I'll talk about in a moment. But this case was like 30 bucks on Amazon. Okay, now, it says it was made for the Meta Quest 3, but fits the Vision fine. Little warning about the battery, though. While this zipper compartment is convenient for stuffing in like the polishing cloth and extra knit band, If you put the battery in here, it may press down on the top of the glass part of the Vision when you close the case. And I'm paranoid about the pressure when it's stuffed in my bag. So instead, I put the battery in this little included case here. And then I just keep it stored up here. So that way when it's closed, and even if you get pressure coming in from the side, it's not going to do anything. And like, you know, the Vision has a lot of room to sort of slide around, so there's like no pressure here. Just a disclaimer though, this case isn't specifically made for the Vision, so you have to decide if saving a boatload of cash over a more efficient case is worth it. Along with the case, you'll probably want some extra power, so I got a 20,000 milliamp battery here. That's like over 6 times the capacity of the main battery. Of course, it's a little more nuanced than that. I'm still experimenting with batteries, but this seems to be a nice compromise between capacity and size and weight. But all of this begs the question of logistics. Are you supposed to just have all these batteries and cables hanging off you, or thrown on a tray table or next to you? It's really awkward to juggle all of this, but I already have a solution. Now, this may seem hypocritical. I was just talking about how expensive the official Vision Pro case is, but the next item I recommend is this vest. This is the Scott E-Vest Quest Edition, no relation to the Meta Quest, and this is over $200, but hear me out. This thing has 42 pockets, so it's super easy to just pop the batteries inside here. And it's not just the pockets. This thing has basically an internal harness in the way it evenly distributes weight up through your shoulders. So I love this thing. It's basically replaced my purse. It's like having a bag of holding that you wear, and it's bigger on the inside. And it has more tricks up its sleeves, pun intended. There's a feature called the Personal Area Network, which is a fancy way of saying it has these little holes you could run cables throughout the lining. So I could put the battery down here, plug in this cable, and it's routed up here to the Vision's battery. It manages everything quite well, and it's terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be wearing vests in the future. So for now, tip number 3, offload your video files. I don't think I mentioned this in my last video, but I have the base model Vision Pro, which means I only have 256 gigabytes of storage. So far, that's working fairly well for me. I've loaded this up with apps and audiobooks, and I've used less than 100 gig, but that means I can't store much video on here. My library is easily in the terabytes. So to solve that, I picked this up. This is the NewQ Hub, and it's basically a portable media server. You can slot an SD card in here. This is a terabyte SSD, and you could connect to it via Wi-Fi and stream directly from here to the headset. There are a couple of caveats though, so let's jump into the Appleverse. Okay, so I have connected to the hub. It's called NewHub 5G. This isn't like a bridge Wi-Fi network. Like when I'm connected to this, I don't have access to the internet. I think if you plug an Ethernet cable into here, then you could be online. But right now, no internet, which is fine for me because I'm pretty much just using it when I'm like on planes and stuff. Okay, so I've connected to the network. There actually is a app that works fine for like devices like iPhones and stuff, but for some reason on here it doesn't work. It's called like the NewHub. Like it says device not connected, even though I'm connected to the Wi-Fi network, but no worries. Okay, so let's bring up Safari and go to 10.10.10.254. Okay, so now that brings us to this little login. So by default, I don't think there's any password or anything, so we can just go to login. So right now this is like connected to the hub. I think if you store things in like the root directory, the files will show up here, but I have mine in subdirectories, so we've got to go to Explorer. Okay, so I can look at TV shows, for instance. We've got like Alf here. And there we go. We've got TV playing. So the caveats I was mentioning, one is this only seems to play MP4 files. Like it doesn't seem to work with MKVs, which is fine. There is a sort of a finicky workaround for that, which I'll show you. Okay, so we have Serenity here, which is an MKV file. I click on that, and it's asking me if I want to download it, because that seems to be how Safari processes it. Okay, so what I'll do instead is, while this is on the screen, because if I exit it to go back, I look up at the address bar, and I am going to copy that address. Let's move this stuff out of the way and open up a new app. Okay, this is just simply titled Video Player. Click on that. So usually when you open it, you get this little home screen down here. Bottom, there's a tab called Tools. And you're going to want to click on URL streaming. So this is a paid feature. I think it's like $150 like a month. If you do a lot of MKV streaming, that might be worth it for you. It pasted in the app, so I could just click on, let's get that out of the way. I can click on play. Okay, and turn the volume down, and yeah, there we go. We've got Serenity playing. Oop, this probably isn't YouTube safe. Okay, so you could play MKV files through here, but there is, I think I said there's two caveats. The second one is, unfortunately, it does not work with 3D like side-by-side videos. Okay, so here's like Judge Dredd. It's a 3D side-by-side movie file, but it just displays it as it would like on a flat screen. It's not combining it into one image. So right now it doesn't seem like there's a way to like stream like your own personal files in 3D to this. That might come with another app or an update at some point. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. For me, I just have mostly like 2D MP4 files, so this is fine for me. Okay, now for those that stuck it out this far, first, I appreciate you. And for you folks, I have a couple of extra software-focused workflows that you may find as useful as I have. Now, when I first got this thing, I imagined surrounding myself with giant displays, which I did and do sometimes, but in actual practice, I found that in most cases, smaller displays are actually easier to use and keep track of. And the cool thing, when they're close like this, you can actually interact with them like it's an iPad. It's like a more just natural way to interact with apps when they're up close like this. And I haven't tested this yet, but there's actually a beta update for the Vision Pro that will let you actually bring these apps closer, because if I get too close, they start kind of fading away. I mean, I don't know why you're going to need like an app in your face like that. Maybe you could think of some reasons. But yeah, so I might get that update later, and once I get back home. Okay, guys, I had to move inside because they started playing some loud music right outside my window. So, where was I? Right, touchscreen apps. So, I know this is like really nerdy, but this is basically an RSS reader that's kind of done up in the TNG Next Generation LCARS system. You just like click on things and confirm a red alert. Ooh, wow. Is this the most like practical thing? Like, of course not. But I mean, it's just like, it's just a lot of fun. So, oh, while I have this here, another thing I noticed is like when you move apps around, you can actually just kind of like throw it, and there's like a little bit of like inertia to it, kind of like jelly scrolling. But I mean, yeah, so I could just like see myself just bringing up like a bunch of like just like little apps and just kind of, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like basically just like having an iPad here. Yet another reason I am getting rid of my tablet. And for the last tip, this has really come in handy for me as a novice content creator. So in the last year, I've slowly been gathering new cameras to improve this channel, and a couple of them have associated apps for like remote monitoring and control through your phone. But I've discovered they mostly work just as well through the Vision Pro, and can really come in handy for like framing shots and controlling the camera when you're filming yourself, like when I was creating the thumbnail for this video, or like I'm doing right now. I just downloaded the DJI Mimo app to here, and I can move the gimbal and take a shot. It takes a little practice, but it actually works pretty well. Of course, this is only relevant when I'm making Vision Pro specific content, but it all comes back to having fun and experimenting with what this thing can do. Okay, so what's next? There's only so much I could say about the Vision Pro and how it's fitting into my life, so I may start moving on to other things. I'm thinking I may do a little general channel update about my upcoming long-term travel plans. I mean, the main reason I got this was for productivity on the road, so maybe I could talk about some of the other gear I've been picking up in anticipation of that, like my cameras, and maybe frame it around some excursions or hikes around my current base of operations in San Francisco. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm trying to practice my cinematography and editing skills and not just hold out my phone camera and talk to you like I did for 6 months on the PCT. Ideally, I want to become like a full-time traveler, ride the rails, hike the trails. I'm currently working full-time to save up enough to head out for at least a couple of years. And if I want to keep that going longer, I'm going to need to devote a little more time to polishing up the content on here. So if you're interested in that, stick around and get subscribed, and we can go on that journey together. I think it'll be fun, and I'm pretty excited about the possibilities. Okay, goodbye forever. Did you get that?